Hey gentlemen, give your instruction in the dressing room. Let's have a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Touch gloves, return to your corner, and wait for the bell. Good luck.
There's a little bit of attitude tonight on the face of Oscar Valdez, Tim.
Oh, yeah, there is. He's going to make him pay for not making weight.
Well, he intends to.
He intends to, but Quigg look like he's about 140 right now.
That's why he didn't want to step on the scale earlier today at the request of Oscar Valdez's team. Valdez says, I don't care. I don't care how much he weighs. The result will be the same.
Which is interesting because, again, as we've seen certainly in the last two fights, Valdez is more than willing to assume the risk to be great.
That's something that boxing needs more of, and that's exactly what Oscar Valdez is looking to do. He wants some big name fights in the future, and he knows that Quigg is the biggest name on his ledger so far. He's got 12 rounds to prove that he's up to the task.
And Quigg figured this is the quickest way back to Carl Frampton.
You know, Frampton hasn't been answering the calls per Eddie Hearn, but now it's Frampton calling and saying, hey, if Quigg can get the win tonight, let's talk, because I want to get in the ring with him again.
Well, check this out. Quigg is not going to go home if he gets the win tonight. He ain't going to go home with the belt, so he might not get that call.
That is so true. The belt is only for Valdez to take home if he is to defend the title for a fourth time successfully. Scott Quigg did not make the 126-pound limit, was 128.8, almost 3 pounds over the limit. And here Valdez starting off using his boxing skill.
Curious, Tim, what would you have done? Would you have made Quigg step on the scale?
Absolutely. I would have made him step on the scale if he did. If he didn't step on the scale, it didn't matter. I trained to go 12 hard rounds. I sacrificed. You know, I spent money for this training camp. Guess what? I want to get in there and I want to fight.
And you want to get paid, and that's what Oscar Valdez says. I'm not going to give it all up. I'm not going to fail my promoter. I'm not going to miss this chance to be on national television. And all that was more than the 3 pounds in his point of view in terms of importance.
It's worth mentioning, by the way, that this is, in fairness, entirely out of character for Quigg, who spends basically his whole life in the gym. As Freddie Roach, his trainer, says, one of the reasons he loves training him is that he has no life except for the gym. He hangs out with his mom. He goes to Starbucks with his
right
mom.
there from Valdez. I mean, yeah, but she's not here to help him out, my man. And then a body shot there by Oscar Valdez, and it looks like Quigg felt that.
Absolutely, Quigg felt that. Quigg doesn't have a lot of defense. He stands there with the earmuffs on. Valdez is going to be landing right hooks and left hooks all night long and going down to that body because Quigg stands right in front of you and drops down. I won't be surprised if Valdez hurt him with an uppercut.
And his mobility may be hindered, and I'm talking about the Englishman here. But so far, as long as Valdez is in range, he's going to try to connect early on in this fight and establish the fact that he is now more of an offensive fighter under Freddie Roach.
The best way for Valdez to establish himself is to keep pumping that jab.
Muy bien. ¿Ya? ¿Viene Mopis? Where's the water? Bien hecho, amigo, perfecto. No me deje de llavear. Ya sabemos que el propósito de él es tirar la derecha por fuera. Te la está enseñando, ¿de acuerdo?
Round 2 of our main event between Oscar Valdez and Scott Quigg. Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. told Oscar, the Mexican fight fans love you. And why is that, Tim?
Because guess what? Oscar Valdez goes down to that body, that left hook to the body, the signature. You see right there, Scott Quigg leaning over, like I said. You see Valdez finding home for that left hook right behind the elbow
and there's
of
that
Quigg.
Uppercut too, and when he's got to protect that body, you're gonna have openings, and Oscar Valdez creating those openings early on here in round 1. But there's a key punch for him, Mark, that he's got to continue to use.
Well, it's the jab, except that what we've just seen is a beautiful left hook to the body. In the last fight, he says he had to learn from that last fight with Seniesa Savannah. To jab more, to pull out more effectively, as we just saw, not straight out, not with his hands down. I think it starts with that jab.
And when you look across the ring and you see a guy like Scott Quigg, who's got no quit in him, he fought 8 rounds with a broken jaw because it was broken in round 4. He said at the 6th round, luckily he landed an uppercut and it numbed it, but nonetheless, the body shots are very different, Tim.
Ooh, that body work right now is serving Valdez very well, especially that left hook to the body. I saw Quigg lean forward and kind of put that elbow down into by his side. That's how you know when you hurt a guy to the body.
You happy now, Tim? See enough body work here?
Absolutely. Valdez is having his way right now. He's controlling the distance and range when he gets out. He's not dropping his hands when he's pulling back. And guess what? He's going to the body. Those are the keys to victory tonight. Go down to that body, come around that defense, because that's Quigg's defense, and work that body, baby.
There was a lot made in the last couple fights of everything Valdez throwing being one tempo, straight up, hard as he can. And there's a question whether that tires him out. Freddie Roach says it tires him out in the middle rounds. Quigg says it as well. And Valdez says it's not throwing those punches hard that tires you out. The only thing that tires you out is missing them.
Well, he's not doing much missing early on here against Quigg, and you know, it may become academic if Oscar Valdez continues at this pace, but just to remind you that Quigg cannot win the title tonight because he did not make the featherweight limit. So Oscar Valdez making the 4th defense. Were he to lose, it would become a vacant title.
Valdez right now is showing his boxing ability right now, using his IQ right now. He took a little mustard off those punches. He's just trying to touch Quigg right now. I think he's trying to set him up for a body shot.
Quigg trying to turn things around here as a round number 2 comes to an end. And let's listen in to Manny Robles in Oscar's corner.
Hey. Gasoline.
You're doing things well.
Mira, le estás dando la vuelta,
You're turning him around,
con mucha facilidad.
and you're doing it easily.
Muy bien.
Good
Pero
job.
a la hora de darle la vuelta hay que atacarlo,
But when you spin him, you gotta
hay que
attack.
atacarlo, hay que ir por él.
You gotta go get him.
¿Sí? Ahora te recargas a tu lado derecho.
Now lean
la
right,
mano izquierda
keep your
arriba y
left hand
jalas a
up,
tu derecha.
and go.
¿De acuerdo? No
Go
quiero
with the right.
sorpresas,
I don't want any
guardia.
surprises. You gotta keep your defense up. One hand at a time, one punch at a time.
No deje de boxear.
Don't stop boxing. Those are the words of Manny Robles in Oscar Valdez's corner. Take a deep breath.
Tercer round, muy bien.
3rd round, let's go. Very well. All right, Oscar Valdez keeping that look in his eyes like he wants to come out and punish. And Mark, I mean, his story of loving animals and wanting to be great, this is how you become great.
Well, you become great by taking risks. You also become great by trusting one trainer, one voice. And his relationship with Manny Robles is striking. Robles first started cheering for him as the coach of the Sri Lankan team. In 2009, he saw him in Milan, and Valdez, here's this guy, Viva Mexico, Viva Mexico. He looks up, he goes, I think this guy's a crazy fan. And he became his coach, so much so that Robles was willing to go to Mexico and train and lose other fighters.
Yeah, he did. He
including Mick Conlon.
Mick Conlon, Jason Quigley, but nonetheless, this is the jewel in his stable. Oscar Valdez, as well as Jesse Magdaleno. That body work, and Quigg went low twice in this round already, Tim. And there finally we get the first warning from Dr. Lou Moret, the 3rd man in the ring, as Quigg is trying to find the formula. What would your instructions be for Quigg?
Well, Quigg needs to, he's the taller man, and also he has the longer reach. Control the distance from the outside with the jab. Definitely go down and bang the young guy to the body, because you definitely want to weaken him, and land that right hand and try to put a little bit of pressure on him, but a little bit smarter than what he's doing right now. Yeah. And get him to pull out like Valdez like to do, pull out with his hands down and throw that right hand.
Tim, you know, what I'm seeing though, you mentioned earlier that Valdez learned something, knows himself better, having survived a knockdown. But we're also seeing an improved, more mature, more school fighter. This is a guy saying, I have to fix certain things. And from what we're seeing so far, look how he just got out. He has learned those lessons. He's taken it to heart.
He's boxing. He's boxing him right now, like his trainers told him to do in boxing. He's trying to let Quigg walk into something.
And, you know, there we see the warning, the second warning for Quigg, this time for holding the neck of Valdez down as he punches. But Manny Robles told us, hey, you tell a fighter 1,000 times in the gym, this is what you're doing wrong. But until they get dropped on their butt like he did against Seniesa Cervania, that's when they realize, okay, something's got to change. And those are the adjustments that Oscar Valdez is making here against Quigg.
You see right there, Valdez exited out real close to the body. He did it right that time. Had his hands down a bit, but he exited out through the side gate. Quigg is having a little success with that overhand right, I see. Valdez is throwing that jab from too close that time.
10 seconds.
And his mouth is open as round number 3 comes to an end in tonight's main event. All right, between the 3rd and 4th round, Freddie Roach was telling Scott Quigg, you got to keep backing him up, but you got to throw more combinations because that one-punch stuff is not going to work against Valdez. And in the fighter meetings, he said, I'm not going to let Valdez rest in between his punches. Has he been doing that, Tim, or has Valdez been effective in his
Valdez has been effective because he's boxing. He's using that jab like he's doing. He's stepping around. He's throwing the left hook to try to get it around. You see the good defense right there. But I'm telling you, right now, I see that right hand right there. That right hand. You know, Valdez gets a little complacent with his defense, dropping his left hand. And Quigg, being a smart, intelligent fighter, trying to land that overhand right on Valdez. So he needs to be careful.
Nice body work there from Valdez, but he took a nice body shot from Scott Quigg earlier on in this round. Probably the best 2 punches we've seen from Scott Quigg, and we know Quigg has no quit in him, Mark.
No, as what we would call an educated brawler.
That's one way of putting it. I think a very precise way of putting it.
In Quigg, you're seeing a guy who dropped out of school at 15 with his mother's blessing because he saw himself as a world champion.
He did make that dream come true, Tim. Now, I want to ask you something about fighting outdoors because we see Valdez's mouth is open. We see the steam coming from both of these fighters. But in terms of, it's a lot colder than when you fought here, right?
Well, it's a lot colder. I don't remember how cold it was when I fought. It was hot in the ring, man. Against Vodnikov. But, you know, his mouth is open right now. It's the 4th round. You know, he hasn't settled down yet. And plus, he has a big guy coming at him. Like I said, Quigg could be 140 pounds right now. And Valdez is moving, picking up his feet, using the angles and that jab like that, and having a lot of success against Quigg.
Well, Tim, you were right in a way, and you're wrong because he was 142.2 tonight. So, I mean, you talk about a guy rehydrating and wanting to come in heavier and bigger. He got everything he got out of not weighing in at 126. He took full advantage.
So the question is, you know, there was talk whether he had a stress fracture or not. It's still incumbent on him to make that weight or to provide a reason that he can't. Was it a screw-up or was it tactical? Did he come in there to be the bigger bully?
That's the big question. 135.6 was the weight for Oscar Valdez. He said, I don't care how much he weighs. I'm going to punish him. And as long as he keeps boxing like he did earlier on, maybe he won't be able to move him as much as he did earlier on in the fight or other
Slightly
fighters.
different round to me. This is the round that Quigg really started bullying a little bit.
Let's listen to Freddie Roach in Scott Quigg's corner here as round 4 comes to an end.
Now, you ever get the body shots are working really well for you, okay? Now, behind that jab, that straight right hand, right down, right, the straight right hand, very good, okay? But I want the hook back. I need the straight right hand and the power hook. All right, set him up. Take that little angle, like we did in mids, okay? Take that angle and turn that hook over for me, okay?
Yep.
All right, that's your power shot. Let's go, okay?
Seconds out.
All right.
Mouthpiece in.
All right, those were the words of Freddie Roach, and we see that as the fight progresses, Scott Quigg usually gets stronger. Not necessarily the case for Oscar Valdez, Mark.
Well, this is beginning of the 5th round. This is precisely when Quigg and Freddie told us Valdez would tire and Quigg would pick up the pace.
All right, let's see if that happens, but the body work for Quigg efficient early on in the round as it was in the 3rd and 4th rounds as Oscar Valdez going toe-to-toe, but he's not able to move the bigger man like he would usually.
A smaller guy. He's in there against a junior welterweight. Of course, you know, Quigg is trying to walk through Valdez stuff right now. He's having success right now getting close.
And maybe this is why you make a guy step on the scale. It's, you know, you can be cursed with your own courage sometimes.
Yeah, but like I said, I think Valdez, with that amateur pedigree, the fact that he can box just as well as he can brawl, I think he can find a way to win.
That's exactly what he's trying to do here against a veteran in Scott Quigg, who will come forward, who will take punishment in order to dish out his own shots. And it's the body work that Freddie Roach was asking for, which has been efficient for both guys. I mean, it was working early in the fight for Oscar Valdez, and we were giving him credit, and now we got to give credit to Scott Quigg for using the same tactic.
Yes, Scott Quigg is getting close. He's smothering Valdez's shots right now, and he's trying to land body shots. He's trying to slow down Valdez.
He's using his size to pull his way in.
And the legs of Oscar Valdez wobbled a little bit there as the strength of Scott Quigg's wide left hook connected on the chin of Valdez. And here, the size differential can become huge, and it's the moment of the fight where Valdez tends to weaken, and that's what Freddie Roach was betting on here tonight.
Stop. Come on, clean, okay? Box.
All right, Quigg was expecting Valdez to kind of slow his rhythm and take advantage. And now we see the cut over the left eye of Scott Quigg. He paws at it, he feels his own blood. Let's see how he reacts to it, Tim.
Now this is the time you take advantage.
Oh, that's what Valdez does, but now Valdez gets caught after landing a left hook to the body. A big right by Scott Quigg, and Valdez has to hold on here in round number 5. Quigg smells blood. He feels the weakening of Oscar Valdez. Can he take advantage in the final 25 seconds of round number 5? He lands it right again. Valdez looking to counter. 10 seconds. Tension from the crowd as round number 5 comes to an end. Quigg wobbled Oscar Valdez as he goes back to his corner. I'll have some work to do. He got overconfident. Just relax.
Agua.
Give me water. Are you cut from the mouth? No.
Come on, Frankie. Fuck. Aquí. Ahí va. Hey, man. Where's the Vaseline? Tranquilito, cerradita la guardia, mijo.
And you gotta close your guard.
Hey, mira, todo está bien, no me hagas exceso de confianza. No
Everything's fine,
guardia,
just
mijo.
don't get overconfident.
Vámonos.
Don't walk back with your hands down.
Bien cerrada la boca, pásame la toalla, por
Close
favor.
your mouth, give me that
Bien cerrada
towel.
la boca, ¿sale? Bien cerrada la pinche
And
boca.
close your mouth.
Vámonos. White that corner with the towel.
Tim, you called exactly what happened, and we saw that in the Cervania fight.
Yep.
Why did he get clipped with the right?
He got clipped with that right hand because he made that mistake. Freddie Roach told us that, hey, we're gonna put that pressure on him. We're gonna make him, he's gonna result back to what he always does. You know, we heard Valdez said that they went back, watched the tape, they know, they worked on their mistakes, and guess what? guess what happened? He pulled back with his hands down. What did Quigg do? Man, that right hand wobbled Valdez, the champion.
Now Valdez trying to load up with that left hand, be it downstairs or upstairs. He wants to connect with the left hook and the body shot with the right. And the blood coming out of the mouth of Oscar Valdez.
What you want to do if I was Valdez right now, what I would do is I would use my jab and my boxing ability, and every chance I get, I'll go downstairs. I'll work my hands just like that, smother them and tie them up just like that, and not allow Quigg to just bully me and do what he wants in there.
It's a lot harder than just taking that instruction. If he could keep him off just by the jab, he would. I mean, Freddie's instruction the other day is our strategy is not to outbox this guy. I think we can outpunch him. Just keep the pressure on him.
Tim threw 1,000 punches in this same ring against Ruslan Provodnikov. So if that's the case, he may need to do that against Valdez.
One of the greatest and most terrifying fights I've ever seen, Tim. Thank you for the thrill.
There's a combination punching now from Oscar Valdez as Quigg, if he comes in without throwing punches, Tim, Quigg is a whole different guy. And there we see the push from Quigg and Dr. Lou Moret right on top of it.
But the punches don't seem to be discouraging Quigg.
He's fighting a junior welterweight now.
That's my point exactly.
Great job in the corner of Quigg, too, with that cut. So we got to give credit there to the corner of Scott Quigg. And the mouth of Oscar Valdez continues to bleed. How's that going to affect him in this fight?
Man, he's spitting out blood coming out of his mouth. I don't know how, honestly, I ain't never been cut inside my mouth like that. But I know it's nasty. Blood dripping down in the back of your throat could affect your breathing a little bit.
Well, Quigg certainly knows what that's like after his bout with Frampton. Here's the thing, we all applaud Oscar Valdez for walking into the ring tonight and saying, I'm going to punish him and being oblivious to the weight limit. But tomorrow when he wakes up, he'll be the guy who took all the risk. And his career is not going to go forward on our praise from tonight.
You know, I spoke to Frank Espinoza right before this fight, and he said, I advised them, don't go in the ring. But it's your decision. And that's what Oscar Valdez did as an adult, decide to go in there, not wanting to disappoint the fans, and in a way,
he's paying the price for you. The fans and the broadcasters, they're not paying this price right now. They're not the ones getting hit.
Perfectamente bien. ¿De acuerdo? Síguelo boxeando, papá. ¿De acuerdo? Pero lo quiero alejado de las cuerdas, ¿sí? Bien, todo bien, pero alejado de las cuerdas. Estás trabajando muy bien el cuerpo, estás ganando bien el golpe y después te me vas. ¿Oíste? ¿Oíste, papá? Al aire. Al aire. Ahí quédate, quédate. Al aire.
Freddie Roach knew they had a window between rounds 5 and 7 to do some damage on Oscar Valdez. This is round number 7 of this fight, and Scott Quigg will continue to try to pour it on against Valdez. And even Freddie Roach said, Valdez, he comes back strong late in the fight, not because of his skill, but because of his courage.
Because of his courage. And he's showing that right now. But I see a sense of urgency in Quigg right now. He feels that he has Valdez right now, dancing to his beat.
Well, that beat is the body shots from Quigg and that overhand right as Valdez goes once again with those hands down. That's dangerous.
That's super dangerous. And Valdez is resulting back to what he normally does. He needs to correct that bad habit if he's going to move up. I continue to say that every time he fights.
Your best and worst habits come out under pressure.
Couldn't say it any better, Mark.
That's why he's a writer. Puts that on paper, and now he puts it to voice here on Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Valdez, one of the striking things when you sit down with him, apart from how personable he is, but you know, a guy spends his life in the ring, and you can see the cuts, you can see the nicks, you can see the scars. he's never been cut except tonight inside his mouth. Something terrible is going on there.
Yeah, and it could be more than a cut, and nobody better than Scott Quigg to know what Oscar's fighting through. Look at the way the mouth is leaning towards one side. It could be worse than just a cut. The way Oscar Valdez's mouth is now open, I mean, this kid's fighting through something special.
Valdez is a warrior. That's why I love Oscar Valdez fights. He's a warrior. He's been through it. I told you the 2 fights before this, he had a war with Mariaga and he had a war with Genesis Cervania. He's ready for this moment right now.
He's going to have to dig deep against Scott Quigg, a man who's dug as deep as a man can dig in a world title fight against Carl Frampton, fighting 8 rounds with a broken jaw. Could the same be happening to Oscar Valdez here tonight?
I don't know. I don't know what the condition of his jaw is. I know that he's acquitted himself courageously tonight. It may be a thankless task. If he should win tonight, this will go down as a great one for his career.
Hero status for Oscar Valdez. Todd Grisham was listening in the corner of Oscar Valdez. How serious is this, Todd?
Well, they don't believe it's his jaw. They think he bit his tongue or somehow injured the inside of his mouth, but they're definitely saying it's not his jaw. It's an internal mouth injury. They believe he bit down on his tongue, and that's what's causing all the blood.
All right, well, that's better news for Valdez in one sense, but in another sense, the tongue bleeds a lot, and so he'll have to continue to deal with that after round number 7 of this 12-round championship fight here on Top Rank Boxing on ESPN.
Bucket. Ah, no piso. No, estamos bien. ¿Estamos bien? Bien. Mira, amigo. Es el round número 8, ¿sale?
And Ireland's Mick Conlan, the Olympian, taking on Luis Fernando Molina. Don't miss next week's main event from New York City. All right, Oscar Valdez, 8th round, looking to dig deep and prove his mettle as a Mexican champion.
He trained in altitude in Mexico to help his endurance. There's some debate as to whether training in altitude actually helps you or not. Thank goodness he apparently stayed away from the perilous Mexican beef.
Well, the thing that he said was, as an amateur, when he was a 2-time Olympian from Mexico, he was in Mexico City. He said, I used to feel like I had 2 gas tanks when I would step into the ring. Well, he's proven to himself that he can go 12 rounds in his last 2 fights. A war here at the StubHub Center against Mariaga and then against Genesis Cervania. So here, you see that blood just dripping from his mouth, Tim.
Yeah, and at the start of the round, he went to the corner and he spit on top of the ropes. I don't like that right hand. Quigg is landing. Quigg is loving it. Oscar Valdez is not loving it at all. It's the right hand. He's sneaking it over the top of the jab. See how Valdez pulls his hands down when he steps back to just take a breather. So Quigg is doing exactly what he said he wanted to do.
Also he doesn't naturally throw straight punches. I don't mean that they're haymakers.
Yeah.
They're precise, but they always have a little arc to them.
Big left hook there from Scott Quigg, caught partially by the glove of Oscar Valdez. But Valdez looking for solutions here in the 8th round of this 12th round championship fight.
Well, one solution would be to let his hands go, like he sometimes do, but also tie up. Have you seen anybody tie up during this fight? Oscar Valdez never ties guys up.
He did earlier in this fight when he got caught with the overhand right, Mark.
I'll tell you what this is. This is another great StubHub fight. This is exactly what we talk about when we talk about a StubHub fight.
Big left hook to the body from Oscar Valdez, but Quigg walks right through it and continues to come forward, and that's got to be disheartening for Valdez at this point.
Quigg right now is having success. He's moving forward. You see about the heart of Valdez as he's come back and responds to Quigg's 2 shots that he landed while he was against the ropes.
See, I look at this fight, I'm still seeing what doesn't look like a fair fight. They don't look like the same size guy.
Well, that's the reason for it. 105 144 pounds, 142.2 and 135.6 at the time to step into the ring. This is for a 126-pound weight class, so it's working for Scott Quigg, although he'll get a ton of criticism if he comes out on top for taking advantage of the situation. Oscar Valdez looking for answers here as round 8 is about to come to an end at the StubHub Center, and we've mentioned this is a fight worthy of this venue as he goes over to the red corner to take instructions from Manny Robles. Miguel Diaz is the cut man. Let me clean him up.
Mejor, estamos boxeando.
All right,
¿sí?
better. You're boxing now. You're beating him to the punch.
¿sí?
Touch him and then go to the body.
¿De acuerdo, mijo?
Hit him in the stomach.
Duro la barriga.
Just keep going to the stomach.
Bien cerradita la boca.
Close your mouth, though. I need that to be
Where's the bucket?
closed.
Where's the spin bucket? Okay.
You gotta box him.
Boxeando, mijo, inteligente, inteligente.
You gotta be intelligent. Come on, son.
Vaseline, hurry. Yes, come on, Quigg, still good.
The fight fans are loving this fight. You mentioned the quality of the fight. I mean, we've had some incredible fights happen in this venue. This will go down probably as one of those. The bloody mouth of Oscar Valdez and the bloody eye of Scott Quigg. And here comes Valdez. You know, they expected this from Quigg's corner. Said it's not so much the skill, but it's the heart of Valdez that keeps him pushing forward.
Again, now we're getting into the later rounds, and we're seeing an uptick in Valdez's activity, exactly as Freddie said.
All right, after 8 complete rounds, real quick.
Body shot he threw early in the fight.
All right, our colleague Dan Raphael, who is our unofficial scorer, has it 77-74 for Oscar Valdez. I have it a lot closer than that at this particular juncture. But anything can happen in this fight. Nice work to the body and then the uppercut from Scott Quigg as Oscar Valdez tries to answer with his own and then goes with the overhand right, chopping at the head of Scott Quigg, who leaves that wide open, and then he goes downstairs to the body. This is a toe-to-toe battle, Mexico and Manchester, England.
I can't help but be taken with the heart of Oscar Valdez. He's cut inside his mouth. He's fighting a much bigger guy, and he remains undiscouraged. That's what great champions do.
All right, Tim, in between rounds, they didn't want to touch the mouthpiece of Oscar Valdez. They didn't take it out. What does that mean?
Well, I guess they're trying to keep it, whatever's going on in there, they're trying to keep it inside. You know, I would take the mouthpiece out and wash his mouth out, rinse it out, get the blood up out of his mouth.
Means he's losing a lot of blood is what that means. It's not like a cut over the eye. It's not like you can put adrenaline on.
All right, well here the adrenaline inside Valdez's body is coming out because he connected some beautiful shots. A nice uppercut and an overhand right on Quigg, and then the left hook to the body, but then the double left hook from Scott Quigg.
You see the cross defense of Scott Quigg right now. Old school. I haven't seen that in a while, man, when you have a George Foreman. George Foreman.
Oh, nice left hook to the body there from Valdez as Quigg opened up with the right hand.
You're seeing that left to the body that you saw from Valdez the first 2 rounds. And, you know, metaphorically, point of fact, you can't be more motivated, have more urgency than tasting your own blood.
But do you see where the hands at? From them body shots, do you see where Quigg's hands are at right now? They're by his side. Those body shots are having an effect right now. Valdez should maybe fake to the body and go to the head with a left hook or something.
Solid finish here to round number 9. This is a StubHub Center fight. Valdez Quigg, Top Rank Boxing on ESPN. This is round 10 of a 12-round affair where Scott Quigg cannot win the world title tonight because he did not make weight. He's using that advantage to the fullest tonight against Oscar Valdez, whose teeth are out of line. They're offline if you get a chance to look at it later on. Nonetheless, his heart is right where it needs to be, Tim.
He's putting his heart on the line. He's behaving like a champion. He's fighting through pain. That's what champions do. You fight through pain. And also, Scott Quigg right there using the old trick that you do. You know, you get a guy that bends down, you want to force him down, take them legs away.
And you force him down with the body shot like Oscar Valdez there. And he continues to punish Scott Quigg. The weight, that is a huge difference here tonight in how powerful or lack of power Valdez has against Quigg. But that's not going to keep him from throwing punches tonight, Marv.
He's become better as he's become bloodier. The fight's worn on, and he hasn't. There's nothing diminished about him.
There may be something diminished in the nose of Scott Quigg. It looks like it's
Something
deviated
misshapen.
septum. And so, I mean, when you look at this, you got a guy with a possible broken jaw, a guy with a possible broken nose. This is boxing. This is what you came to see. Are you entertained? Because Valdez and Quigg are here to give it to you and give you their heart, their passion, their soul.
And
Nice right hand there from Valdez. Quigg still walks him down.
I don't think he knows any other way.
Nah. This man, there's no quitting this dog. I mean, he fought with a broken jaw. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Big left hook there from Quigg, and Valdez takes it and moves forward.
Quigg right now, I don't know. He stepped back. There's something must be going wrong right now. He's not attacking like he normally was doing early on during the round and during the last couple of rounds. He's sitting back now. What is he waiting on?
See him look at his face.
Mexico, Mexico is what the crowd is yelling here at the StubHub Center, and give them all credit for showing up. It's pouring outside, and it's pouring punches inside the ring as well, as Valdez and Quigg are putting on a show. Valdez with a nice combination, but here comes Quigg.
Quigg right there followed Valdez out. He followed him out with that and caught him with the left hook.
The pressure of Quigg. He said, I'm not going to let him rest when he throws the punches. That's been the difference between every opponent until tonight. He's keeping that true, but is it enough? In his last 3 fights under Freddie Roach, Scott Quigg connects on or throws 84% of his punches as power punches. Tonight, look at that, 411 power punches. That's about 75% compared to the 102 that he's landed. I mean, this guy goes for broke, but the percentage connected by Oscar Valdez at 36, very efficient.
We came into this fight, the discussion was dominated by the flaws of Oscar Valdez, and what I will leave here with is a sense of his virtue.
Yeah, Valdez has definitely shown improvements, I believe, you know, in his craft. He actually tied up there for the second time, I believe, in this fight.
In his career.
But what I love is that he's using his hand speed right now. You see, using his hand speed, he can't hurt this big guy. He's not just trying to throw one hard shot at a time. He's letting his hands go right now.
Big left from Scott Quigg as Valdez comes back with something of his own. Both guys are leaning in, Tim. Somebody makes a mistake and gets paid. That could be the big difference.
I want to see the uppercut from these guys. Both guys are vulnerable right now at this point. You know, fatigue gets set in. Valdez is showing the heart of a champion. Both of these guys need to be commended for the performance that they're giving the fans tonight.
The ropes is probably not where Valdez wants to be.
Fatigue may be setting in, but it hasn't stopped Valdez from boxing.
And it is all over.
What he doesn't have, or doesn't seem to have at this weight, is the power that's due him as a featherweight. His normal power.
Yes, because of the weight of Scott Quigg coming into this fight at 142.2. Nonetheless, both of these fighters are just pounding here in the championship rounds. To think that we have 4 more minutes of this as Scott Quigg has a chance to win the fight, but not the belt, as he did not make the featherweight limit.
Quigg the other day said, I want to leave the ring recognized as the British Mexican.
Oh, big left there from Scott Quigg. Valdez takes it, and it's going to come back with more.
And I think what people are going to leave with is the utmost admiration for Valdez.
But Valdez wants more than the admiration. He wants the adulation. He wants his belt, and that's a low blow from Scott Quigg. Now here Valdez would do what to take the full 5 minutes, Tim.
Well, you can take the 5 minutes, take advantage of it, absolutely, recover, but also Quigg can recover as well.
Let's take a look at the shot. Oh!
Yes, right on the money.
Okay, are you ready?
No
Tell
doubt
me when
about
you're
that
ready.
one.
Walk around.
Very low, and that'll go on the Scott Quigg no-no list of what he's done for this fight.
Both guys at this point, each of their faces are grotesque masks.
Yes.
Pick him up.
I would have taken a lot more time if I were Valdez. Tell you that.
Oh, big left hook from Oscar Valdez. And Quigg now is hurt here at the end of round 11. Can Valdez finish this off?
¡Hey, tapate! Ya lo prendiste.
You caught him now. That's it. But you gotta keep your guard close, but don't get careless. Those are the words of Manny Robles for Oscar Valdez. Freddie Roach.
All right, now let's go. You gotta give it all, okay? Just like that, right? Body hand, okay? Let's let those hands go, okay? All right, pressure him the whole 3 minutes. This is 3 minutes of your life, okay? Give me it right now, right? The best 3 minutes right now. Give it to me. All right, I know you can do it. Let's go.
Those motivational words from Freddie Roach asking for Scott Quigg's best 3 minutes of his life. You know Valdez is going to punch. You know Quigg is going to punch. Who's going to get caught? Valdez coming out looking to finish this fight, just like he did at the end of round 11. You've been in this moment, Tim. The crowd's going to be pumping. His adrenaline's pumping. What gives?
What gives? Nothing. You in a championship. It's a championship fight. You know, nothing gives. I know Quigg doesn't get the belt, but you know what? If he wins this fight, he moves up in stature by beating this champion in Valdez.
Let him go. Step back. Step back.
Regardless of what happens tonight, both fighters will be in other great fights. And when we look at the list of great fights here at StubHub, be it Tim Bradley, Ruslan Provodnikov, Israel Vasquez, Rafael Marquez, Lucas Matisse, John Molina, Brandon Rios, Mike Alvarado, we can keep going and going and going, but somewhere on that list will be Valdez Quigg.
Oh, yeah. This is a war, a bloodbath.
What I think you're seeing tonight is the emergence of Oscar Valdez as a great fighter. I understand his flaws, but what we're seeing here tonight, hurt against the bigger guy, is special.
People love flawed fighters. The beauty of it is he's a flawed fighter in the ring and a great person outside of it.
He's not too flawed, by the way, but the flaws, the stylistic flaws make him compelling. It makes him vulnerable.
I'll pay to see Oscar Valdez any day. I've had the privilege alongside Tim to call the Mariaga fight, and now we have this one as well as the Silvania fight. I mean, this guy is impressive.
This is a little different than the previous two.
It is completely. He's had to dig deeper than ever tonight, and that's
why I say it's special.
But think about it, he had to go through those other 2 fights to get to this point, because if he didn't go to those other 2 fights, I don't think we see Oscar Valdez standing up in this fight.
All right, let's give the fans a gift. You're watching at home. Listen to the crowd react for this final 50 seconds of this fight. that they've earned the respect of the man across the ring tonight. Oscar Valdez will put his name now as one of the most exciting fighters in boxing today.
I think that what you've seen tonight is incontrovertible evidence that Oscar Valdez is indeed special, and it had nothing to do with technique. It had little to do with technique. Mostly what it had to do with was heart and courage.
Well, I agree with you at a certain point. It does have to do with the skill level of this young man, the amateur pedigree, the fact that he can stand there, he can trade with you, and he can also box.
This wasn't amateur pedigree. This is professional heart.
True, I get that. I believe that too.
Heart, pedigree, whatever you want to call it, Oscar Valdez and Scott Quigg gave us a gift tonight. We'll give you the decision when we return. Compared to what Oscar Valdez did against Quigg, and what a fight we had tonight. From the early going, it was Valdez worked to the body that set the tone, and then it was Scott Quigg coming back with the same type of work, setting up that right overhand to the chin of Oscar Valdez. At some point, there was a problem with Oscar Valdez's chin, but nothing wrong with his heart, as he kept coming back against a guy who weighed 142.2 pounds coming in. 135.6 for Valdez. Nonetheless, the numbers don't even come close to telling the story of what we saw in the ring tonight. Now the question is, the fourth defense of Oscar Valdez's featherweight title, is it successful or is it not? Michael Buffer's in the center of the ring with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds, we go to the scorecards. Max DeLuca and Terry O'Connor both scored at 117, 111. Larry Hazard Jr. scored at 118 to 110. All three scorecards go to the winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, still the WBO featherweight champion of the world, Oscar Valdez Jr.
So it's more than a moral victory, it is a true victory. Dan Rayfield, for reference, had it 115, 113. I had it 116, 112 for Valdez, but a lot wider than what we saw. And real quick, as we take a look at the CompuBox numbers, 912 punches thrown by Oscar Valdez, but look at the power punches. He landed 175 at a 36% clip. That's why Oscar Valdez is still the champion.
Had the power punches, but without his customary power at 126 pounds. Interesting.
Yeah.
Quigg and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, both applauded the decision.
All right, and now we have Todd Grisham in the center of the ring with Oscar Valdez, and everybody wants to know, Todd, how is that jaw?
Thank you, Bernardo, here with Oscar Valdez Jr. Oscar, first things first, how is your mouth right now? What happened?
Scott's a tremendous fighter. Look what he did to my teeth.
So it looks like you just had some teeth banged out.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, much respect to Scott. It was a war. Take my hat off to Scott Quigg.
You started strong, especially to the body. Then the middle rounds, it seemed like it started to switch to his favor, but then you turned things around. What changed?
He come in with some good shots. I mean, like I say, he's a tough fighter, and this is boxing. I get hit, he gets hit, and the good thing we got the result.
He weighed 7 pounds more tonight, 2.5 pounds more at the weigh-in. How big of a problem was his weight for you tonight?
I wouldn't say much, He hit me with some good shots. I think if it would have made weight, the result would have been the same.
So what's next for you now after this unbelievable performance?
Whoever, man. I'm ready for whoever. Any champion out there, I would love to take the fight. I'm here to fight whoever. I'm the champion.
There's been some great fights here at the StubHub, some epic encounters. What will this fight mean to you and your legacy going forward?
I would love to keep on fighting here in California. I want to owe the fans an apology because it rained. I think every fan that came over here, true fan for coming here on the rain. I appreciate that. Much love. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your victory.
Muchas gracias.
Oscar Valdez Jr., everybody.